let's go into detail in it. So man would be stood there, my uncle would be stood there having a shave, and I would find that fascinating as a child, stood there just watching him. I don't know, maybe because I didn't have a man figure, a father figure. I enjoyed, because I used to watch my grandfather shave and stuff, and it was just, I don't know what it was. So I would stand there watching him, and he would enjoy picking me up and rubbing me against himself and then put me down. The young mind doesn't know what that is. In the young mind, it's just, oh, that was kind of a cuddle. From that, it led to so it wasn't a normal, what would you call it? Like a normal, like mum, dad, kids. What is that? A normal, what do they call it? It's like, it's called something. Anyway, I didn't have that. So dad abandoned myself and my mum when I was 1.5. My mum, she worked in the airline, so she was one of those, she worked for Ghana Airways. She was a senior ground hostess. So she was obviously a very sexy, desirable woman, you know. So growing up, it's like I wanted to follow in her footsteps, actually. That was something that I would have loved to do. But unfortunately, due to family interference, mum lost her job because she lost her mind. She tried to commit suicide by drinking loads of water, which went up to her brain and caused a lot of psychiatric, mental health issues. I don't know what you want to call it. I was quite young when she got diagnosed. Now all I know is that it's being a schizophrenic. Everything was fine. She would go to work as normal. I still remember watching her get dressed, and the way she used to get dressed, she had long hair. She would stand over this, it's called a oud burner. You know what oud burner is. Stand over that to make her hair smell nice, smell good. Her little skirt, her stockings, her blouse, bow tie, blazer, you know. You know, people that work in the airport back in the 80s, 90s, it was like, in my language, they say ona di tori differency, like just the way they spoke, the way they behaved, their whole demeanor, it was just the whole shebang was just so admirable, and I don't know what the word is, exciting and nice and, you know, inviting. Yeah. But yeah, when she lost her job and went into depression and all that, I was quite young. I think I may have been 5 or 6. I can't remember. So naturally, my family had to kick in, and my mum's brother and wife had to take over. They took me. So I lived in up north, Nuneaton, for a short period of time. Then gradually came back, because at that time my mum was in a psychiatric ward. So obviously either I was put into care or it would be with family. So my uncle took me. And then slowly we integrated, is that the right word? Integrated back into, so it was me, my grandparents and my mum. Uncle and auntie went off the scene. We would go see them every weekend. But mum wasn't normal. She wasn't normal after that. It was quite hard to watch her during those years. A lot of relatives would come on the scene. Like my grandma would help. My grandma and granddad, they would help their brothers and sisters' kids. Oh, come to London. We'll get you married here. You'll get a good job. The whole coming to London, it just looked like an exciting thing for them. So they would come, single guys in their teens. And by then I was about 7, 8 years old. And obviously they see a girl, they're a guy. Even now, guys see girl, girl sees guy. It's just magnet. So yeah, a lot of now people use the word abuse. I don't use the word I don't class it as I was abused. I was enticed. Is that the right word? Like pulled in, into a false comfort by these relatives. In my head, in my child's mind, I'm thinking, oh, okay, so that means I'm going to marry him. But it never worked out like that. Let's go into detail in it. So man would be stood there, my uncle would be stood there having a shave, and I would find that fascinating as a child, stood there just watching him. I don't know, maybe because I didn't have a man figure, a father figure, I enjoyed, because I used to watch my grandfather shave and stuff, and it was just, I don't know what it was. So I would stand there watching him, and he would enjoy picking me up and rubbing me against himself and then put me down. The young mind doesn't know what that is. In the young mind, it's just, oh, that was kind of a cuddle. From that, it led to night times where we would share the same room, because he was single, teenager, sort of. Was he a teenager? Let's say he was about 19, I think. And I was about 8, 9. So it would start off with, I'm in bed and randomly he's coming and rubbing my leg. I don't know what that was, but that's all that was. And then slowly it would go to him pulling out his dick. I don't know what else to, his dick, and showing me and saying, you want me to put your name on my dick? So my name would be written. I'm watching him put my name on his penis. And then he would, in all honesty, I can't remember full details about whether I touched him. I think, yeah, he would make me stroke him and then slowly ejaculate. And then he taught me that this is what you call money. And I was like, okay, whatever. Then slowly it went to, I would have my clothes on. Yeah, I'd have my clothes on. So I'd be bent over and he's ejaculating on my back. Then it went to, so I only remembered this once when I was in therapy whilst I was in prison. We were talking as you and I are, because this is all coming back to me now slowly. As we were talking, it came back to me that, oh yeah, he did penetrate me. He penetrated me, but with my clothes on. And it's only when, as I was talking about it, I remembered that wet feeling between my legs and him suddenly, like, it was like he himself couldn't believe what he had just done. So it was like he jumped off me and go change your clothes sort of thing, you know? Yeah. This one uncle had a girl come to see him. By this time, myself and my uncle had been in a relationship for almost maybe 4 years. I'm not even sure. Anyway, so yeah, this girl came to see him, you know, arranged marriage in our Pakistani culture, African culture, whatever you want to call it. They came and I told the girl that, listen, hold on a minute, what, you've come to see him? But me and him are kind of a thing. Like, I thought he was going to marry me. Like, so my uncle, who I had a relationship with, was now married off. Obviously, you could say, I'm not going to say I was heartbroken because I wasn't heartbroken. I was just a bit shocked and a bit overwhelmed, like with, oh gosh, hold on a minute. I just told you that that the guy you potentially want to marry is with me and yet you're still marrying him. All right, fair enough. Good on you. I still remember the wedding. I attended the wedding, just like I would attend any normal wedding, but in I still remember a little bit of how do you say, a bit of sadness. You know when someone dies, what do you call that? Yeah, I felt a bit of grief. I was grieving that, hold on a minute, I thought I was going to marry him, you know? Not that I wanted to marry him. It was just the fact that, okay, he showed me really good attention, affection, da 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 da. And in my young mind, I thought, oh, that's nice, you know? And he came from a good family. I would have had a good life. I did tell this one cousin about a different uncle, not the one that was about to get married. His brother, I told her about. And she said to me, oh yeah, he shows me pornos as well. And they live in Pakistan. And this is back in the early 90s, we're talking. So it was mentioned once and that was it really. Not only did I know it was wrong, I don't know if I can use the word wrong. I think it was more like, we can't tell anyone yet. Like, we're going to get married. So it's going to come out. But right now I can't say anything because maybe nobody will believe me. From a very young age, I've had body dysphoria. So I don't like to look at myself in the mirror. I don't like the way I look. I don't like the way my body is. I've always had weight issues. So when any guy would give me attention, till today, I'm not going to lie, when I walk down the street and someone looks at me, I will swing my hips for him, you know, like give him something to look at because I'm not used to people looking at me. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, all the incidences with the three different uncles made me, put me in a position where the lifelong partner that I've had I've always been on edge with him. I've always been waiting for him to say, okay, I'm done with you now. So our relationship's always been up and down, and whenever we argue, it's always like, well, I was waiting for you to tell me to fuck off. I knew you were just using me, or yeah. My protector was my grandfather. Then he got ill. Then my protector was my mum's brother, whose wife I don't like and she doesn't like me. So my auntie took my uncle away from me. I would say that. Because I looked at him after my grandfather like he was my protector. And then all of a sudden, I'm getting banned from the house. I'm getting banned from the family. Completely ostracized, like an outsider now. So for the last 25 years, I've been thrown out of the family. And that's only because I smoke cigarettes. My family frown upon that, even though nearly every fucker in my family smokes. Excuse my language, I need to stop smoking. Swearing. Yeah, because I smoke, and because I got married of my own choice. My family didn't like that, even though there have been several love marriages in my family. There are even gay boys in my family that are accepted, which, going back to the generation I come from, would not be accepted. But now all of a sudden they're accepted, but Alia's not allowed to the wedding, or Alia's not allowed to the party. That really fucks with my head sometimes. It didn't feel like I was going to school. It was more like I was going just some place to make up numbers. I wasn't really studying. I'm not saying I didn't learn anything. I learned, but I had a lot more potential than I took on. I was late every day. I missed a lot of classes. I missed a lot of lessons because my mum would lose her car keys, or she would lose her contact lenses. So since a very young age, I've had punctuality problems. Sorry, I'm laughing about it, only because it's my mum's fault. I'm not blaming my mum. It's just, things rub off on you, innit? So because of mum being so chaotic, is that a word? My life's always full of chaos. I was alone. I didn't have no brothers and sisters. I'm starting to feel sorry for myself. But yeah, I was all alone. I didn't have any friends who at school that I could talk to, any teachers I could talk to, or I didn't actually have anyone. I managed to get into business admin, which I was doing quite well until I met my partner, and he saw that I had very nice handwriting. I had a computer at home, so he started asking me, can you do my assignments for me? And next thing you know, I'm doing his assignments. And so beginning of the year, I was getting distinction. So I was getting distinctions for my assignments. And then he came into my life and all that went away. And next thing you know, it's all about a boy again. He got taken to Pakistan. Let me get this right. Why did he get taken to Pakistan? Because his family discovered he was doing drugs. So went on with college life. I guess in that moment, it was quite upsetting that, what the fuck, where's he gone? But it didn't really affect me in that way because, you know, when you're so used to men coming into your life and just going, it's like you're waiting for him to go. My brother-in-law, my partner's younger brother, we were still in touch. And I got a random call off him saying, guess who's coming back today? I think I've mentioned before that he's a chronic crackhead. Is that the right term to use? Which means some of his friends were drug dealers, which meant when he was with a friend who was a drug dealer, they would ask him, go deliver this for me, or go shot this for me, you know. And he went and dealt with someone who was an undercover police officer, which meant he was now under surveillance. You know, a lot of this stuff is whatever he's told me or whatever I've heard, but I actually don't know what the facts were. I was one of those very submissive types. I believe what I'm told and don't question it. Maybe that's something that comes with being from the background I come from. Girls don't ask questions. It's frowned upon if a girl asks a question. Not only is it frowned upon, it's like, who do you think you are asking? You're a girl, you don't ask questions, sort of thing. Is a polite way to put it. Yeah. What happened? So yeah, now he was wanted. There was a lot of ducking and diving. There was a lot of so we had to, there was a robbery that he took lead of and did time for, which meant that, okay, so this robbery has been done. Now we're on the run. So literally the night before the robbery, we got married, which I had to talk my dad into getting us married. And he was well happy to get me married to this guy because it was a fellow heroin addict. It was a fellow crackhead, drug addict, basically, you know. So my dad welcomed him with open arms because, yeah.
When did that come back into the picture?
Dad, as soon as I needed him to get me married, which was 2003. I was pregnant, so the council had given us a bed and breakfast to stay at, which I don't think they were aware. No, sorry, they were not aware of who the father of the child was. I had given my husband's brother's name as the father of the child and my partner, because obviously my partner was wanted. So we're staying in a bed and breakfast. And I couldn't get in touch with my partner, and decided to call mum up to come and pick me up. Mum picked me up, went back to mum's. And I'm calling around everywhere like a mad person. They're like, where is he? Where's he gone? Like, it's like he's just disappeared off the radar. And my partner's older brother came over, and finally he's come out with, oh, well, he's been arrested. He's at so-and-so police station. Anyway, then I'm going back and forth from police stations, trying to deliver him food, not understanding that you can't just take food to a fucking police station and they say, here you go, we'll just pass the meal on. Anyway, eventually he went to court, and that day in court I'll never forget. So I'm just going to court to support my husband, and in return my husband's having a go at me like he's a different person. It's like overnight he's become a different person, and he's swearing at me, and he's saying to me, did you bring that thing I asked you to bring that was behind the so-and-so? And I'm like, well, no, I didn't, because I didn't know what you were referring to. And I didn't know, and I don't know what you mean by, can you sneak it into me? We're in court, you've got officers either side of you. I can't give you anything. There's a fucking little gap like that in the courthouse. It's not one of those where I can lean over and give you a hug or something. I would have had to smuggle something to you. And I'm only young. Like, I don't know about shit like this, about smuggling stuff, and like, you were just expecting too much, so I haven't done that. Okay, got sworn at, went sat down, pretty upset, thinking like, what just happened there? It's only later down, months later, I've discovered that he wanted me to smuggle heroin into court to give to him so he could go back and consume in a police station cell, I assume. Yeah. Anyway, I don't think that was relevant to tell you, but I've told you anyway. So now he's now been sentenced. He got 9 years for the robbery, and for shotting to a CID undercover. So his prison sentence started. Going to see him regularly. It was a lot to take. I don't know if I mentioned to you before, but so my family's condition was that you can come home as long as you have an abortion. So yeah, I went home, and then I lied to him. I said to him that I had a miscarriage. I lied to my in-laws. Like, I've got my family that are like, okay, so now he's gone to prison, you've had an abortion, now we move on, we find you someone. Or you just do what you're doing, but you leave him. But I don't know what I was doing. I think it was just, I still don't know why. I guess it was the buzz of, oh, I'm going to see someone in prison. Like, it was really weird. It was like, it puts me back in that position that I want of, oh, bad girl. Like, oh, she's going on prison visits. Oh, she must be a bad girl. But actually not realizing that, no, you're just an idiot who's just being an idiot and made an idiot of. So as that was quite difficult to deal with, to live with, blah, blah, blah. I started drinking on a regs. I was drinking every day. Then I started smoking weed. The drink was easy to get because it was the local shop that I got the drink from. A little bottle of vodka every day. Didn't go amiss because it's just there. Easy to get hold of. Anyway, it's only the weed came into my system because my brother-in-law, he was like, well, don't drink, like that's haram, like that's against your religion sort of thing, and it's not good for you as well. Here, smoke this instead. And it went from weed to heroin. Right now in my head it's going slow motion. It's like, well, we can't get no weed today, but check this out. He would call from jail and I would be sat with his brother and would be using, and it was only heroin up to this point, me and his brother, and there would, and 8 out of 10 times my mum wouldn't even know that my brother-in-law's in the house because I would have had to sneak him into the house. And I'm telling mum, and I'm locked up in my room, and I'm telling mum downstairs, oh yeah, I'm on the phone to it's a call from jail. And even my mum used to, like, obviously, bless her, she doesn't know any different. So she's like, well, okay, so how is he calling so much? Like, do other people in jails not want to use the phone? Like, do you know what I mean? But bless her, because I took I took a lot of advantage of my mum not being there. And not only did I take advantage of that, I think a lot of my drug abuse happened because my brother-in-law could see, well, her mum's not all there. Does it really make a difference? You know? So, yeah, his brother became a very big part of my life. I would say his brother was a bigger part of my life than he ultimately was. I guess we're talking, and physically being there with each other. And then on top of that, his brother, bless him, he had a girlfriend who had cystic fibrosis, and then she passed away. We were there for each other a lot. And I'm not proud to say it. And then there's a small part of me that is proud to say it. Actually, no, I'm not proud to say it. He's been my main partner in crime. Yeah, it got worse. It got worse to the point where I had to do things. Because the brother-in-law, he wasn't always working. So I was the one bringing the drugs home. Like you bring the bacon home. I won't go into detail into what else I had to do to gain money. But I wasn't always just working. There were other things I had to do to make money. So I was carrying myself and my brother-in-law. He was the first one to introduce me to crack. Crack is the reason I ended up in jail, let's get it right. But if it wasn't crack, if it wasn't for crack, I would not have gone back. I would not have gone to prison, and I would not have detoxed, because I kind of believed that, like, up until I committed my first crime and felt that, oh fuck, I could get arrested for this and I could go down for this. It was like, do you know what? Bring on the next crime. I want to go to prison. But then it was like, my cat. Oh my God, who am I going to leave my cat with? Because that was my child, you know? And then I've got mum to worry about. No, I can't afford to go commit another crime. But then before you know it, there's more going out of the house than there is coming into the house. So now you're desperate. Like, now it's like, well, I need to commit a crime, or I don't know where the next bit of money is going to come from. Or do I go and do things I'm not proud of and make money? But even that's not easy. Like, let's get it out in the open. So I did escort work. And it's not easy to go and do stuff like that when you're withdrawing from drugs and you're sweating, you're not thinking straight, you're desperate, you're hot and cold, you're sniffly, your temperature's going up and down, you're feeling angry, you're feeling frustrated. So my partner had a job. My brother-in-law had been thrown out of his house, his parents. So it was basically me, my mum, and my partner. Even though my partner's license conditions were to reside at his parents' address, he was actually living. He was practically living with us, with his brother. Always there, always there. And it was like, I don't know if this is addict language or addict behavior or addict protocol. Is that the right word? So if I've got no gear, I'm rattling, and you're a user, it's automatically your problem. If I can't get any gear, or if I've got no money, it's automatically your problem. And I will shamelessly turn up at your house and be like, well, I'm rattling. Because you're coming to an addict's house. An addict's day starts with waking up. Heroin is smoked and injected, and when you smoke it, I started off by using it just in spliffs, which then turned to, I learned how to, and it was again him that taught me how to smoke it on the foil. So it's basically, you wake up, you look for the foil. If there's no foil, you drag your feet to the shop, you get your foil, you come back, you do your fix. And being your best friend, he knows what routine you're in, so he knows she's going to wake up rattling. I'm going to turn up there. She hasn't got a choice but to help me out as well. So that's what I mean when I say shameless. It was like, well, you could just go to substance misuse and get put on medication, but no, you'd rather come and knock on my door, and the miserable life that I'm living, you just want to add to that. Okay, well, come, let's all get high. So yeah, they were both working, but now it was like I said, there was more going out than there was coming in, because there was crack being used. And crack is, in my experience, is something very different to heroin. So whereas heroin takes you down, crack takes you up. And then when you've gone up, in my experience, not just my experience, but in general, if you go up, you must come down. And some people like to come down naturally. Some people smoke weed or drink to come down. Come down meaning when you smoke crack, you're all jittery and you're all shaky and your nose is running and you feel like you're withdrawing, but you're actually not withdrawing, you're just buzzing and you're just 100 miles per hour speed. So to slow that down, you smoke the heroin to bring you down, back to normal, back to civilization. Is that the right word? And then once you've had your first crack session, the fucked up thing is that the instrument that you use to smoke the crack, you then spend the rest of the day cleaning that out to get more crack out, but more potent crack, to then reuse that. And it's just a cycle. It just goes round and round and round. And before you know it, 15 years have gone by, and you're just looking for your next crack rock. My partner had gone to work. He was doing deliveries for. By the way, let's leave that out. He was doing deliveries for a restaurant. He had gone to work, and me and his brother were sat at home. I had sneaked him into the house, in the bathroom, sat there on the floor, tiny little bathroom, tiny, like this is how much space. Yeah, so I'm cooched up in this little corner, and there's him. We've just finished the last bit of crack. Had a little bit, you call it having a boot, to give yourself a boot up the arse, basically, to get kick-started again when you're smoking heroin. So we've had when you're smoking crack, you call it lashes. So we've had our lashes, and now we're having a boot. The boot's about to run out, and we're now thinking, well, we've got this little bit of change, we can get a bit more crack, or we need a bit more change if we want to get a little bit more crack and a little bit more gear before my partner comes home, and we don't need to tell him what we've been doing all evening. So I said to him, there's going to be someone coming from that train station who's going to have money on them that we can go and quickly rob. Look how casually I just said that. Just quickly go and rob him, and just come home like nothing happened. Like, my God, forgive me. I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh about it. It's just, I'm just laughing at myself, like, because I'm now realizing, hey, you dumb idiot, what the fuck? Go quickly rob someone, just come home like nothing happened. But that is actually how it happened. So we're going to look for someone on the streets to rob, but we've ended up at the train station because I think we've missed the train for the passengers coming or whatever, and we've ended up in a cab, and ended up, I don't know where, somewhere, from which so that was the first robbery. The driver, it's all on Google, by the way. The way that they said it in the news report was like, so myself and my brother-in-law, we lulled them into a security of, like, we're safe. You can be comfortable around us, the taxi driver. So that when it came to robbing him, where my brother-in-law's grabbed him because he sat behind the driver, and I'm the one going through the possessions in the car, like, the driver was genuinely shocked, like, wow, these are, they were just speaking to me in my language and just asking about how my day was and stuff. And next thing you know, I'm being robbed by them. Can I really say it was a buzz? It wasn't really a buzz. It was a gain. We gained money for our next fix. And I think when I say it was a buzz, what I mean is it was relief that, okay, now I don't need to worry about where the drugs are going to come from. And yeah, next thing you know, so we've managed to make £1,800 from that one driver. And it wasn't something that we planned to do regularly. It was literally desperate measures. There were 5 robberies, and all 5 robberies were done over a period of like 4 or 5 years. So it was like one robbery a year. It wasn't like I went out robbing consistently every day. It was literally, so like I said, the first robbery was just so, there was no need for it. But the money that it brought in took care of like 3-4 days of, oh, we can now smoke loads of crack. Yeah. I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of taxi drivers are Pakistani or Indian. Very rarely Indian, Pakistani. So word got out that there's been, because like I said, stupid criminals do stupid things, and the biggest stupid thing that we did was, if we didn't want to get caught, but like I said, because it was desperate measures, we were always withdrawing. Like by the end of the last few robberies, it was like we were always withdrawing, and it was like to get the cash and quickly get home to call the dealer. And there were a lot of the times it was, so we'd waited all day. No money was coming from nowhere. There was no one willing to lend it to us, or no payday loan or was being approved or whatever. So the stupid thing we did was that I decided, I think it was me that decided, that whichever taxi we're going to get home, wherever we're going to jump out and run, it should be near to home. So word got out that there's robberies of taxi drivers happening in this local area, and it's some really, really tall guy and some really, really short girl. And apparently they're Pakistani. Next thing you know, the police is knocking on my door. So it's five robberies, 7 years for one, 7 years for one, 7 years for one, 7 years for one, and then 9 years for one. But that was, what do they call it, concurrently? So yeah. But we did actually decide to try and do a runner. He managed to get out of the country. I can't remember why. Oh, that's it. I was pregnant. I was pregnant with my second. I only have 2 children. I had discovered I was pregnant the day I got arrested for all these crimes. So I basically gave birth and got put on remand. I gave birth at the end of April, I think. I can't even remember. You know, there's certain dates you don't want to remember. You just block it out or you suppress it with drugs. April and September, I got put on remand. I'd never wanted a child. It was in the whole drug addiction that, okay, so I never told my partner, or I can't remember if I did or not. So I've booked an abortion. So I'm going for an abortion. I've had to rebook the appointment. Rebook it. Next thing you know, delivery date. I'm having contractions. I was pregnant. So the moment I found out I was pregnant, It was common knowledge for my GP and substance misuse that I was a user. I didn't know this, that as soon as they find out that you're a user, you are automatically put into, I don't remember the language they use, safeguarding or some bullshit like that. Sorry, I shouldn't call it bullshit. Basically, my child was, while still inside me, was being safeguarded. And they had already made their decision that, okay, now, as soon as she gives birth, child's going to be put into foster care. And it's very minute chance that you're going to be able to take this child home with yourself. Maybe some other family member will be able to take the child into care or foster care or whatever you want to call it, adopt or whatever. But as big and as huge as my family is, not one motherfucker, not one piece of shit was willing to take my child to look after. It wasn't the child's fault, do you know what I mean? It's me who's fucked up. But yeah, that's how it went with both children. I knew that question was coming. No, I don't have any regrets. You know why? Because up till all the fucked up shit happened in my life, I was a very quiet, withdrawn little mouse that wouldn't say, I was going to say boo, wouldn't even squeak to be, I'm here, you know? And I'm really proud of what I am today, because I was going to say I've worked really hard to get here, but I haven't worked. I mean, up here, I've worked very hard to be able to just sit here and speak to you today, because going back, let's say 10 years, actually, just before jail, going back to that time, if someone said to me, do you want to sit down and discuss what you've been doing in life and blah, blah, I'll be like, no, my family, da, 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 da. Yeah, there'll be a bit of a hoo-ha, like, oh, Aalia said this. Ugh. The next day, it'll be a hoo-ha about something else. Life goes on. We come from two different worlds, if you know what I mean. I come from a world where, yes, we had very nice holidays. Yes, I was I had a privileged upbringing, but I didn't have that safety, and they are wherever they are, wherever they are. I'm hoping that they're being kept safe, getting their 3 meals a day and education and opportunities that I probably wouldn't be able to give them. I had no confidence. I have confidence now. I had no personality. I have personality now. I had no voice. I have voice now. I had no protector. I'm my own protector now. Oh, relax. Life goes on. There's opportunity, something around the corner. All you got to do is put yourself out there and be brave, honestly. And being brave doesn't mean going out there looking for fights with people and, they're being all hard and that. No, just whatever comes, just be brave. Welcome it with a smile. Because it would either teach you something, or I don't know, because it will always teach you something.